Chapter number 2, biological classification. In the second chapter, that is biological classification, the classification of plants based on various characters starting from plants to animals that have been categorized by various groups of scientists. So the first scientist to be considered here is Aristotle, and who had classified the organisms into two groups based on presence and absence of red blood cells. The second scientist is Linnaeus, who had given the two kingdom classification, that is plant kingdom and the animal kingdom based on presence and absence of cell wall. Whereas the next one of the most important scientists is a Whittaker scientist, who had given 5 kingdom classification. In that 5 kingdom classification, there are 5 kingdoms are there. Kingdom number 1, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. Whittaker had classified the living organisms into 5 groups, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia. So in this one, Monera includes prokaryotic unicellular organisms, whereas second kingdom Protista includes eukaryotic unicellular organisms. Fungi includes heterotrophic special featured living organisms which contain chitinous cell wall in it. Third one, plantae. Plantae includes all the plants which contain cellulosic cell wall, which are multicellular in their nature. Whereas animalia includes the living organisms which does not have cell wall and they exhibit holozoic type of nutrition. So these are the basic characters which Whittaker had categorized, taken into consideration for giving 5 kingdom classification. There are special group of living organisms are there, those are called as viruses, which does not have cell wall. So they have been specially placed in a separate group called as viruses. Apart from viruses, there are viroids and prions are also there, which are categorized based on presence and absence of the nucleic acid and protein part. So let's discuss 2 points about viruses. Viruses are microscopic obligate parasites which are acellular. Obligate parasites means they are surviving only when host is available, and they are considered as non-surviving when the host is not available. So the viruses contains nucleic acid and proteins in it. So we can chemically call them as a nucleoproteins due to presence of nucleic acid and proteins. Whereas viroids are the virus particles where only nucleic acid is present. And protein part is absent. Prions are specialized particles where only protein is present, whereas nucleic acid is absent. Then let's come to the questions in this biological classification. That is first question. Pseudomurine is a cell wall material in. There are 4 options that are given. Option 1, actinomycetes, 2, eubacteria, 3, chrysophytes, 4, archaebacteria. Out of the given 4 options, some are taken from Monera, some are taken from Protista. So Monera, out of the Monera group, eubacteria and archaebacteria are present. So eubacteria contains peptidoglycans as a cell wall material, whereas archaebacteria contains pseudomurines. So the correct answer for question number 1 is 4. That is, pseudomurine is present in the cell wall of archaebacteria. Question number 2, atmospheric nitrogen in nostoc if fixed in. There are 4 options. 1, heterocysts, 2, holdfast, 3, harmogonia, 4, acinids. In the given options, heterocysts are the specialized cells which are present in cyanobacteria. These are the specialized cells which are concerned with the nitrogen fixation. Whereas second option, that is holdfast. Holdfast is a specialized cell of algae which help in attachment, or we can call it as the attachment organ of the alga group. Third one, Harmogonia. Harmogonia is a reproductive structure, or we can say a group of cells are separated from the parent cell to grow into an individual organism in algal members. Actinids are also asexual structures where under unfavorable conditions they are retained in the form of actinids, and under favorable conditions these actinids will germinate and give rise to the new species, not new species, the new organism of the same species. So out of the 4 given options, the nostoc is a cyanobacteria which have the ability of nitrogen fixation due to presence of a specialized cell called as heterosis. So the correct answer for question number 2 is option 1. Question number 3. Cell walls form 2 thin overlapping shells, epitheca and hypotheca, which fit together as in a soap box is found in. Okay, the given options are: first one dinoflagellates, second one euglenoids, third one diatoms, fourth one protozoans. So here in the question, so they had said that 2 overlapping structures are present like this, the upper one and the lower one. The upper one which is overlapping the lower one is called as epitheca, whereas the lower one is called as hypotheca. This type of organization is present in diatoms. So the correct answer for question number 3 is 3, that is diatoms. So question number 4 is giving some information about the dinoflagellates. That is based on the given 4 options, we have to identify which of the following statement is wrong regarding dinoflagellates. So identify the wrong statement with reference to dinoflagellates. First one, 2 flagella are present, one lies longitudinally and other transversely in a furrow between the wall plates. Here this is a basic skeletal structure present in the dinoflagellates, where 2 types of flagella are present. One are present transversely between the cellulosic plates and one will be longitudinally. So the first option is correct. The second one, histones are present in the chromosome. Actually histones are the specialized proteins which are present in higher organisms, that is in higher plants and higher animals, whereas dinoflagellates are lower organisms, so histones are not present in the chromosomes of dinoflagellates. Third option, nucleus is called mesokaryon. There is a speciality in the nucleus of or chromosomes of the dinoflagellates, that is the chromosomes are condensed in the interface also. So that nature is called as mesokaryon nature. Fourth option, nucleus has condensed chromosome even in interface. So the fourth option is giving the description of the third option, that is mesokaryon. So out of the given 4 options, 1, 3 and 4 are the correct characteristic features exhibited by dinoflagellates. So the answer is 2 for question number 4. Question number 5. Exogenously produced spores generally are: options 1 sporangiospores, 2 zoospores, 3 ascospores, 4 conidia. Exogenously produced spores means the spores which are formed outside the structure, and there is one other is there, that is endogenously produced spores. That means the spores which are produced inside the structure. So that is the difference between exogenous and the endogenous spores. Out of the given options, sporangiospores are formed inside the sporangium, that can be seen in a fungal member called as rhizopus. Second one, zoospores. Zoospores are also formed inside the zoosporangium. As they are formed inside the zoosporangium, they are also endogenously produced. Third one, ascospores. Ascospores are produced by asci or ascus in Ascomycetes members of fungi. These are also produced inside the ascus, so these are also endogenously formed. While the fourth one is a conidia. Conidia are the structures which are formed outside the conidiophore, as like in Aspergillus fungi. So they are represented like this. This is a conidiophore, and outside the conidiophore, the spherical shaped structures are formed. These are called as conidia. As these are formed outside the structure, so we call the conidia as exogenously produced. So the correct answer for fifth question, correct answer is 4. Question number 6, a colonial aggregation of non-flagellated individual cells can be seen in the life cycle of 1. Diatoms, 2. Euglena, 3. Goniolochs, 4. Amoeba. In flagellated organisms like Euglena, during unfavorable conditions, they retard the flagella, that is they lose the flagella, and a group of organisms are present in the form of a colonial aggregation. So in Euglena, colonial aggregation appears to be like an palmella organism, so we call that stage as a palmella stage. Sixth question, correct answer is Euglena. Question number 7, dikaryophase can be observed in the life cycle of first option Phycomycetes and Basidiomycetes, second option Basidiomycetes and Ascomycetes, third option Ascomycetes and Phycomycetes, fourth option Phycomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Ascomycetes. In the given options, Phycomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Ascomycetes have been given. All these are the classes of fungi. Out of these three classes, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes contains dikaryophase, that is each cell contains 2 nuclei. This condition is called as dikaryophase, that is di means 2, karyo means nuclei. So the stage where 2 nuclei are present is called as dikaryophase. This type of dikaryophase is present in Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes of fungi. Question number 7, the correct option is 2. Question number 8, incorrect statement among the following. 1. In eubacteria, cell walls form 2 thin overlapping shells called epitheca and overhypotheca. 2. In dinoflagellates, cell wall has stiff cellulosic plates on the outer surface. 3. In euglenoids, instead of a cell wall, a protein-rich layer called pellicle is present. 4. In mycoplasma, cell wall is absent. In the first option, eubacteria contains epitheca and hypotheca had been given. Actually, epitheca and hypotheca, the overlapping structures are present in diatoms, that is chrysophytes, and the epitheca and hypotheca are made up of silica also. So the first option is wrong. The second option, dinoflagellate cell wall has stiff cellulosic plates on the outer surface. So in dinoflagellates, the outer surface is very hard and it is made up of cellulosic plates, so that is correct. In euglenoids, cell wall is absent, but instead of cell wall, a layer of pellicle is present, which is concerned with the protection of the inner structure. So the correct option is also correct. In mycoplasmas, cell wall is absent. Mycoplasmas are the microscopic organisms, or we can say the smallest organisms where the cell wall is absent. So out of the given options, the incorrect statement is 1. Question number 8, correct answer is 1. Question number 9, diatomaceous earth is indestructible due to cell walls embedded by options 1. Calcium, 2. Silica, 3. Zinc, 4. Phosphorus. In diatoms, cell wall is made up of a chemical called as silica. This silica is deposited on both the epitheca and also on the hypotheca. And this silica material is indestructible and it get accumulated on the deeper parts of the water bodies, and we call that as a Kieselguhr or diatomaceous earth. So out of the given options, the diatomaceous earth is made up of a chemical called as silica. Question number 9, correct answer is 2. Question number 10, one bacterium used extensively in genetic engineering as vector for the transfer of genetic material is. Options 1, Agrobacterium tumefaciens, 2, Bacillus thuringiensis, 3, Clostridium tetani, 4, Xanthomonas oryzae. Out of the given options, first one is Agrobacterium tumefaciens, which is a bacteria, and this bacteria contains extra chromosomal DNA called as plasmid. This plasmid is called as a TI plasmid. Plasmids are used as a vectors for transfer of desirable genes from one organism to other organisms. Why this plasmid is used as a vector means it contains less number of genes, and majority of the genetic material is not useful for the organism in which it is present. That is the reason why the plasmids are used as vectors for transferring the genetic materials from one organism to another organism. And second one, Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacteria which is used as a biopesticide, and it is not concerned with transfer of genetic material from one organism to another organism. Third one is Clostridium tetani. This is a pathogenic bacteria which is causing a disease in human beings. Fourth one, Xanthomonas oryzae. This is an microscopic organism which is causing disease in rice plant. Out of the given options, the Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a bacteria which contains a plasmid. That plasmid is called as TA plasmid, and which is used as a vector. One more special feature about TA plasmid is it is most extensively used plasmid which is used as a natural vector for transfer of genetic material from one organism to another organism. Question number 10, the correct answer is 1. Question number 11, which of the following statements about viruses is correct? First option, viruses possess their own metabolic system. 2, all viruses contain both RNA and DNA. 3, viruses are obligate parasites. 4, nucleic acid of viruses is known as capsid. Okay, here let us discuss some important points about viruses. Viruses are acellular microscopic organisms which pass through bacterial filters, and viruses are considered as obligate parasites. That means these are the living organisms when they are associated with any host, and they are considered as non-living when they are detached from the host. So that property talks about obligate parasitic nature of viruses. And viruses contain both nucleic acid and also proteins. The nucleic acid, either it may be in the form of RNA or in the form of DNA. When it is RNA, most of the conditions it have single stranded RNA. In very few cases it is in the double stranded RNA form. And most of the animal viruses contains DNA as genetic material, and that is also in the form of double stranded DNA form. In few exceptional cases where single stranded DNA is also present, but there is no such virus which contains both RNA and DNA as genetic material. Apart from nucleic acid, they also contain protein part. The protein part is called as capsid. The protein part is called as capsid, and this protein part contains subunits. The subunits of capsids are called as capsomers. Capsomers. So like as this viruses contain both nucleic acid and proteins, chemically these are called as nucleoproteins. So these are some of the characters regarding viruses. So based on these characters, out of the given options, and one more thing, that the viruses does not possess metabolic system of their own. That means they are always dependent on the host organism for majority of the metabolic processes. So out of the given options, the correct statement regarding viruses is third option, whereas viruses are the obligate parasites. Question number 11, correct answer is 3. Question number 12, while studying a LS of gill of agaricus, a student observed 10 basidia. What would be the number of basidiospores altogether? Options 120, 230, 340, 410. In agaricus, the fruiting body is called as basidiocarp. The fruiting body is called as basidiocarp. This basidiocarp produces basidia. Inside the basidia, karyogamy and meiosis will take place. And because of meiosis, it produces haploid spores inside it, and those haploid spores which are formed are called as basidiospores. And if you see the diagram of basidia along with basidiospores, it appears to be like this. So this is basidia, and here these are the 4 haploid structures, each one containing one nucleus in it, and these structures are called as basidiospores. So each basidium contains 4 basidiospores. So in the given question, 4 basidia are present. That means each basidium with 4 spores, and as 10 basidia are present, the total number of basidiospores are 40. Question number 12, the correct answer is 3. Question number 13, karyogamy and meiosis occur in 1. Ascus only, 2. Basidia only, 3. Both ascus and basidium, 4. Sporangium only. Here karyogamy and meiosis, where it is related to the nuclei. So because of the fusion of nuclei, a diploid structure is formed, that is karyogamy, and that diploid nucleus will undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores, and the haploid spores in basidiomycetes are called as basidiospores, and haploid spores which are formed in ascomycetes group of fungi are called as ascospores. In ascomycetes, the fruiting body is called as ascocarp, and the ascocarp will produce asci or singular ascus, and inside the ascus, karyogamy and also meiosis will take place, which results in haploid spores called as ascospores. And there is one more group of fungi called as basidiomycetes. In basidiomycetes group of fungi, they produce the fruiting body called as basidiocarp, and this basidiocarp will produces basidia, singular basidium. Inside the basidium, karyogamy and meiosis will take place, resulting in the formation of haploid spores called as basidiospores. Here the ascospores which are formed inside the ascus, which are haploid and endogenous, whereas basidiospores are formed outside the basidia and which are haploid and exogenous in their nature. So, out of the given options, karyogamy and meiosis will take place both in ascus and also in basidium. So, question number 13, correct answer is 3, that is both ascus and basidium. Question number 14, what is the genetic material in the following virus? So, the given structure is of TMV virus, that is tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus is plant viruses. It is one of the typical example of plant viruses, and the TMV virus contains rod shape and helical symmetry. Rod shape and helical symmetry, and every virus as like TMV virus as like other viruses will contain nucleic acid as genetic material and the protein part called as capsid. Here the core part or the center part of this TMV is made up of nucleic acid, and this nucleic acid is a single stranded RNA. This is also in helical form, whereas around this core part or the nucleic acid, the protein part is present. This protein part is called as capsid, and this capsid is made up of subunits called as capsomers. So, these are some of the important characters regarding TMV viruses. So, the given options are: first one double stranded RNA, second double stranded DNA, 3 single stranded RNA, 4 single stranded DNA. So, as already we discussed that the TMV contains nucleic acid in the core region, which is made up of single stranded RNA. 14th question, the correct answer is 3. Question number 15. So, here two lists have been given, that is question is study the following list, list 1 and list 2. Under list 1, A is Pasteur, B is Carl Woese, C is Whittaker, D is Aristotle. And under list 2, first one 2 kingdom classification, 2 red blood and non-red blood animals, 3 name virus, 4 5 kingdom classification, 5 6 kingdom classification. Now, let us come to the conclusion part here, that is Pasteur is a scientist who had given the name virus. So, 1, and Carl Woese is a scientist who had given the 6 kingdom classification. Carl Woese had modified the 5 kingdom classification that was given by Whittaker scientist. So, according to Whittaker, 5 kingdoms are there, that is Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So, what this Carl Woese had done is, he had divided this Monera into 2 groups. So, that is 2 kingdoms are there, and apart from that one, the remaining 4 Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So, total 6 kingdoms are present. Already we discussed that Whittaker had given the 5 kingdom classification, which includes Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Aristotle is a scientist who had classified the animals into the one which contains red blood and the one which does not contain red blood, that is red blood and non-red blood animals. So, out of the 4 given options, A is 3, B is 5, C is 4 and D is 2. So, the correct answer is 1. Question number 15, answer is 1. Question number 16, there are 2 statements, one is assertion and reason. Assertion, lichens are very good pollution indicators. Reason, lichens grow well in polluted areas. Okay, here let us discuss some important points regarding lichens. lichen is a symbiotic association between two different types of living organisms. One group of organism is called as algae and other is called as fungi. The algal group is called as a phycobiont, while the fungal group is called as mycobiont. Algal group is a photosynthetic and autotrophic organism, whereas mycobiont is a heterotrophic and non-chlorophyllous organism. So, this phycobiont will provide food materials to the mycobiont, whereas the mycobiont will provide minerals and shelter to the phycobiont organism. So, these are some important characters regarding lichens, and it is having some ecological importance also. That is, lichens are pioneers in the ecological succession. Pioneers means the first group of organisms which are colonizing a bare rock or bare land. That means pioneers are the organisms from where the serial community is starting in the ecological succession. And one more important character is these are good indicators of pollution also. That means good indicators of pollution means wherever pollution is present or the place where the pollution is present, in those areas the lichens does not grow. And here assertion statement is that lichens are very good pollution indicators. Okay, that statement is correct. Whereas reason statement is lichens grow well in polluted areas. As these are the indicators of pollution, wherever the pollution is present, these organisms does not grow. That is the reason why statement R is wrong. The correct answer for 16th question, correct answer is 3. Question number 17. Perfect stage of members of Deuteromycetes belongs to 1. Phycomycetes, 2. Cyanobacteria, 3. Ascomycetes, 4. Basidiomycetes. Out of the given 4 options, Cyanobacteria is a blue-green alga. It is not the part of fungi, whereas Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes belongs to fungi. And one more thing, that Deuteromycetes is called as imperfect fungi. Why Deuteromycetes is called as imperfect fungi? Means this group of organisms are represented only with the asexual stage. There is no sexual stage in this group of organisms. So, whenever a sexual stage is identified, it is given a separate name to that one, and as this perfect stage is present, that is the sexual stage is present, they are separated from the Deuteromycetes and have been shifted either to the Ascomycetes group or to the Basidiomycetes group based on the similarities to which they are resembling. So, whenever the perfect stage is identified, the perfect stage of Deuteromycetes is either kept under Ascomycetes or under Basidiomycetes. So, question number 17, the correct answer is 3 and 4. That is option number 4. Question number 18, organisms having either peptide bonds or phosphodiester bonds but not both. Options: viroids, second viruses, third prions, 4 bacteria. Let's come to first one, viroids. Viroids are the viral particles which contains only nucleic acid but no proteins. So, nucleic acids are present, proteins are absent. Second one, viruses. Viruses are the viral particles which contain both nucleic acid and also proteins. Third one, prions. Prions are the viral particles which contain only protein part but they lack nucleic acid part. Nucleic acid is absent, only protein part is present. And Next one, bacteria. Bacteria are also microscopic organisms, but comparatively their size is larger than viruses. These bacteria also contains nucleic acid and also proteins. So, in the given question, they were asking about peptide bonds. Peptide bonds are present in proteins because protein is a chain of amino acids which are binded with the help of peptide bonds. Second one, that is phosphodiester bonds. Phosphodiester bonds are the strongest bonds which are present between the pentose sugar and phosphate molecule in a nucleic acid, that is either in the DNA or in the RNA one. So, here viroids have nucleic acid but no proteins, means they contain phosphodiester bond but there are no peptide bonds. Viruses, they have nucleic acids and also prions. As nucleic acids are present, they contain phosphodiester bonds, and proteins are present, they contain peptide bonds also. Prions, they have only proteins. So, nucleic acid is absent. So, as nucleic acids are absent, phosphodiester bonds are also absent, only peptide bonds are present. Whereas in bacteria, both nucleic acids and proteins are present. So, as nucleic acids are present, they contain phosphodiester bonds, and the proteins are present. So, peptide bonds are also present. So, based on these conclusions, we can say that viroids and the prions are the organisms which contain either phosphodiester bonds or peptide bonds. So, based on that one, the question number 18, the correct answer is 4.